The NBA season is finally almost here. We're under a week to go until the NBA preseason starts. And, I'm feeling good. I can't wait for NBA basketball to be back. I think most of us have been very, very tired of this relatively dry off season, especially the last month. And, we're ready for some NBA basketball.
I'm so excited!
Obviously, a slew of trades have happened here in the past few days, and Jrue Holiday was the recent one that happened, and the Celtics are the team I really want to talk about here today because there's a lot to be excited for the Celtics team, but I also have quite the bit of concern, and, going into the playoffs, I have my reasons to still have doubt for this team.
Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is Tingus Pingus? I never heard of fucking Latvia!
Still, I want to preface this by saying I think that the Celtics are definitely the second best team in the Eastern Conference right now. I'm just talking about them competing with the Bucks or winning an NBA championship. I'm not sure that I'm confident that this roster is built to do that. First off, not even starting with the roster, I just want to put it out there that I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Mazzulla. I understand that he was kind of thrown into a fire with Ime Udoka, obviously the whole scandal having an affair with one of the Celtics staff members, and it's just that was a whole mess, and Mazzulla wasn't exactly given time to prepare for this head coaching role, but I'm just not a fan of him in general because, he's younger than Al Horford and some of these other players in the league, and it's just hard to, be a voice in a locker room, and we saw it seemed he almost lost the locker room at times during the playoffs with Marcus Smart even sneak dissing him kind of in the post-game presser. It's just, I'm not the biggest fan of Mazzulla, I'll be honest, and I don't think he's going to be the big reason why this team doesn't end up going to the finals. I'll get to that, but I don't think that he's going to help elevate this roster past the problems I see right now for the Celtics. Let's just cut to the chase. No more point in beating around the bush. This Celtics team has zero depth. So let's say Kristaps does go down and they have to bring in a bench player to start. It's going to be Al Horford, obviously, because he's up and away their best bench player despite his age being, his age is climbing up there, but Al Horford's still a productive player. And, I don't know who else on this bench team or bench unit for the Celtics is going to step up and be a catalyst, especially with the bigs and forwards. They lost Grant Williams, traded Robert Williams obviously away. Malcolm Brogdon now also gone, who was just the sixth man of the year, and Derek White is most likely going to be starting every game. This leaves the Celtics bench without Horford, assuming that Porzingis does go down at some point in the season, because he is, regardless of if he's relatively healthy, he's going to miss some time. I would be absolutely shocked. I would almost put my house on the fact that I think that Porzingis will at least miss probably 20-ish games this year, but even if he doesn't, then I guess maybe the Celtics team could be okay. I still have questions about their bench regardless, because who is going to score for this bench unit? Peyton Pritchard hopefully can take a step up this year. I know that he's been wanting more playing time and has shown a lot of flashes in the time he's gotten, especially at the end of the season. He had the 30-point triple-double when he was given the opportunity to start. But I don't think that Peyton Pritchard is just going to be able to carry this bench unit, especially when they're coming off of last year where they had one of the best bench units in the entire league. So then the question is also, how do they match up against the Bucks? And I'm going to say not that well, because now their two best players at guarding Giannis the past few years has been Grant Williams and Robert Williams, and they also match up to them best size and athleticism-wise. I'm not saying that Grant Williams is the Giannis stopper or anything, but Robert Williams especially does as good of a job as anyone. If you say Tatum, sure, good luck with having Tatum guard Giannis all game and then still try to go put up 30 points a game. It's going to drain him immensely. Anyone guarding Giannis, that's kind of why you want a specific defender and designated, role player on him. Robert Williams was obviously a very, very good defender. Porzingis can't move laterally like that, so he's not going to be guarding Giannis. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like how this team matches up against the Bucks. A big reason I like the Celtics less than the Bucks is because the Bucks still have Bobby Portis.
Bobby face. What's the Bobby face?
And even though their bench depth is a little bit of a question mark too, one of Pat Connaughton or Malik Beasley off the bench alongside Portis, like I just said, and it's not as bad as I think the Celtics bench is probably going to be. They also have Jay Crowder, who, even though he's not as good as he once was, they have some pieces that they can mix around, and I also just have more faith in the Bucks starting lineup than I do in the Celtics. As good as Jrue Holiday is, and he's kind of like a Marcus Smart with offense almost, the Celtics lost a lot of their identity with losing Marcus Smart, and I still don't really think they have that back. They hadn't traded for anyone or gotten anyone to instill that identity.
I lost something I couldn't live without. My identity.
Even though as great as Jason Tatum is and as good as Jaylen Brown is, I don't see this team having a real leader other than maybe Al Horford. And I know Horford's not the most vocal guy, even though he's clearly the veteran of that locker room. They need to reestablish an identity this season, and that's something that's going to come with hopefully developing a bench and turning some of those lesser-known pieces and players into solid role players, which the Celtics have seemed to be able to do time and time again. Anyways, I don't think the Celtics are necessarily in a bad situation at all. I think that they definitely got better in a sense, but they also got worse in a sense, because in the playoffs, a lot of those contending teams and good teams that win championships, you look at the Nuggets obviously this year, and then you look at the Warriors in past years who have always been very deep teams. And even that Cavs team that won it in 2016, the 3-1 comeback, obviously they were a deep team. The Raptors were a deep team. If the Celtics were able to win it this year, this would be the least deep team we've seen win it in quite a while. So that's just where a bit of my concern comes into play. You look at history, and history tends to repeat itself, and this Celtics team isn't as deep as a lot of those great ones that seem to go on long playoff runs. That's a reason why the Heat were able to exceed expectations this year, was because of how deep they were and their role players outplaying expectations. So I think a lot of this with the Celtics is just going to depend on how they develop the rest of their players that aren't starting, but it's not going to be the worst issue in the world. When you have a starting five like that, you're going to be competing no matter what. That's going to do it for this video. Just wanted to talk about that for a little bit. And, we got the NBA preseason coming up soon. So finally, like I said, we get some real NBA basketball back very, very soon. And then the regular season starts on the 24th. So we got a lot to look forward to in the next coming weeks. So make sure to stay tuned for more videos. If you did enjoy this, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out our other socials in the links in the descriptions, the Twitter or X, our Instagram, our TikTok, Spotify, whatever. And yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Sir, you have a little bit of poop inside your testicles.